Good evening. Thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mark Ducey, and I'm running for school committee. I'd like to start by giving you a little bit of background about myself, and then talk about some of the key issues I think the schools face. First off, I lived in town for the past 11 years with my wife, Valerie. We have twin boys, and they are in the 6th grade at Wilbraham Middle School. This past year, I was honored by the school committee when they asked me to chair the committee. Over the past 3 years, while serving on the school committee, I've served on the budget subcommittee, which I chaired last year. I also served on audit subcommittee, negotiation subcommittee, and currently chair of the middle school task force. Prior to that, I served 7 years on the Wilbraham Finance Committee. At the same time, I served for about 5 years on capital planning and a host of other smaller committees, but most recently served on the new town administrator search committee, where we ended up hiring Nick Braille, our new town administrator. I've been really involved in the towns pretty much since we moved here. And I've done it really for one reason. It's a great town. And I want to offer my services, my insight to the town. I want to make it better. I really want to spend a few minutes tonight talking about some of the issues the schools face. Some are very, very important to us, and I think important to everybody in this room. First off, the number and the pace of state requirements is simply daunting. I've worked closely with our legislative delegation and school committees from across the Commonwealth to push back on many of these requirements. Specifically, I've spearheaded a drive to reach out to neighboring school committees. We're meeting regularly now, and there's a group of about 8 or so different school committees that are meeting, including Longmeadow, ourselves, Agawam, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, really to take a look at common issues and speak collectively about it. This is the first time, at least I've been told, it's been done in years, and I'm happy we initiated that effort. Over the past few months, I've also met with Senator Lesser twice, and I've met with Representatives Ash and Pupalo. We need their support. We need their support in pushing back on many of these issues. We can't do it alone. The new state educational standards loom large. You're probably familiar with them. They're called Common Core. We've been a leader in forcing the state to review these standards, to reconsider these standards. About a year ago, our school committee took a vote which forced the Common Core issue onto a statewide delegation agenda. This past November, I attended a 4-day conference where we took up the issue. And I took an active role in that debate. I voted in favor of demanding a review of Common Core and the associated assessment, commonly called PARC. You might have also heard of Resolution 7. That's exactly what it is. I'm very proud of these efforts. We were one of the first ones to lead this. And now the governor's demanding a review. I think that speaks volumes for us. The review of Common Core and PARC will make the case for or against Common Core and PARC stronger or weaker. But the outcome will be clearer, and we'll all be better for it. And the best part of it is, it doesn't jeopardize our kids' futures. And one of the most important issues the school's facing now, at least from a local level, is declining enrollment. It's an issue that's affecting our entire district, Hamden and Wilbraham combined. The enrollment declines are real and they're significant. They negatively impact our educational settings and they negatively impact our budget. We must address this issue. The status quo will not remain. We simply can't afford it. This fall, I want to bring to the voters at town meeting, both Hamden and Wilbraham, obviously a special town meeting in Wilbraham, a plan that regionalizes or brings together our kids sooner and one that does not. So I want to bring 2 plans together forward and let the voters decide on which one they think is in the best interest of our schools. I think the difference is, there's two goals I have. One, I want to make the education better, and two, I want to make it cost effective. And I think the differences will be stark, and they'll be very notable. But understand, whatever path we choose, it's not going to be easy. Come to one of our middle school task force meetings and you'll clearly hear it. So in short, my approach is really balanced. It's strategic, and it's results oriented. I'm not interested in playing partisan politics. I'm not interested in promoting political agendas. But I am interested in making Wilbraham a great place to live and doing the best we can for our kids. I want our kids to thrive in school, to excel in opportunities, and have a host of opportunities when they leave the halls of Winnetonka. And I also want to do this in a way that's fair to you, the taxpayer. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay? I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Roy for putting this on. Tremendous effort. And I'd like to thank you guys for coming out tonight. It shows your dedication to the spirit of politics in Wilbraham, and I appreciate your time and attention. I'm running for a school committee. My name is Wilbraham Bontempi. I'll give you a little bit of background about me. I grew up in Greenfield, which some of you may know sits in the northern part of the state, just follow 91 almost to the Vermont border, and you're there. I graduated from Greenfield High School in 1986, Bowdoin College received a degree in biology and chemistry in 1990. I attended Tufts University School of Dental Medicine, received my DMD in 1994, University of Connecticut School of Medicine in 1997. I finished my residency in oral and maxillofacial surgery in 1999. I was board certified in the same specialty in 2003. I'm currently board certified through the year 2023. I'm on staff at Noble Hospital and Wing Hospital as an associate oral surgeon. When we moved to Wilbraham back in 2007, my wife and I moved to this town for one reason, and that was the schools. Schools had an excellent reputation. We liked the community, and so over the last 7 years, we've begun our family. We moved here when my oldest was 4 months, she's now 8 years old. I have another daughter who's 6 years old, and I have a son who just turned 3. So I met with a guy tonight who's a good friend of mine, right before I came here, and he saw the sign on the lawn. He said, "You're running for school committee?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You need that like you need a sharp stick in the eye." And I said, "You know what? It's time. It's time." He said, "Why would you do that?" I said, "I have 3 reasons to do it. Marissa, Angelina, and Dante." Now, talking about a political platform in a forum like this is a very easy thing to do, and I think it's something that everybody needs to understand. You've heard a lot about the Common Core tonight, jeopardizing the future of our children. If you guys want the real answers, you come back here tomorrow night at 6:30. There we'll have an educational forum, and that educational forum will address exactly what Common Core is and what it isn't. Common Core is a set of standards that was adopted by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. It does not dictate what happens in our schools. The curriculum is up to the school committee, period. There is no argument about that. Everything else is window dressing. You don't have to be an attorney, present company accepted. You don't have to be an attorney to understand that the standards were accepted by the school board, but they are not law. And it certainly doesn't dictate how we treat our students. I applaud Mrs Emirzian's discussion about not allowing the park to become the test. I think the school committee needs to take it a lot further than that. The school committee needs to immediately unify its front against the Common Core and issue a statement saying that it will not move forward. It will not use the curriculum that is aligned with Common Core, and that is entirely within the purview of the school committee. The other issues that I have, planning, Mr. Ducey is right. We are failing in the sins of our past because we have not invested in our schools. We have not built a new school in this town in 40 years. We have problems. We have schools, the two middle schools are in the 1970s they were built. We've got issues that we need to face with that, and planning is definitely in the key. And I know I see gentlemen sitting up there saying this is going to cost us money. It's going to cost us money. Well, you know, I hate to say this, there's no other way around it. Wilbraham was built for the schools, and the school committee has to act on the best interests of the children. Relationships with the community, having a school committee that talks to people, that listens to people within the community. And finally, transparency. Letting people know what the plan is. If there's a discussion amongst people about what's going to happen with the schools, particularly with the middle school task force, I think it's something that the community should know about. We don't have to go through the motions of having hearings when the decision has already been made. Jay, I have a lot of reasons to be on the school committee. I'd like to take the school committee in a different direction with respect to Common Core, as well as some other issues. But I think the Common Core issue is probably the largest issue that we have to face because it defines who we are as a community. So I appreciate your time, and I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
And thank you for being here to hear us tonight. My name's Jim Burke. I've been a resident of this fair city or town for 30 years. All of my children have graduated from our school system, and they're all doing well. I'm running for school committee because I believe that the committee we have right now is broken. It's non-functional. There's no discussion or very limited discussion on any of the articles that are passed. We have issues, as Bill mentioned, about maintenance. Our buildings aren't being maintained. They've already cut the budget for Minichog. And that was a big issue. Why didn't we maintain Minichog? It only lasted 50 years. Should have lasted a lot longer. We're getting $300,000 a year from Memorial School. Now, I'm not sure where that money's going, but I know if we put that together for 3 years, you know, it's almost $1 million. That would pay for the roof or the windows that they tried to pass last year. Special town meetings held in August is blindsiding our public. People are on vacation. People are not there to vote. They're not informed. Spent $130,000 to tell us we needed windows at Sewell Road School. To tell us we needed a roof on a 50-year-old building. Now, I realize that maybe that's state regulation, that we have to have feasibility studies, but we darn sure don't have to pay $130,000 to tell us we need new windows. Common Core, as Bill said, we don't need to go with the Common Core. The school committee can take a stand and put it forth that we're not going to abide by that. We're responsible for the curriculum. We're responsible to make sure that our kids get a good education. We need to keep the bar up here, not down here where Common Core is going to put it. Now people say, well, Common Core. We've been doing well in this state since 1993, when they changed the law. And we did well until the last 5 years, when the Common Core standards started coming in. Now the reading score, we were very high. We've dropped 5 points with the Common Core curriculum. That's not where this town needs to go. And I will work hard to make sure that we keep the bar high for our youth. When elected, if you have a question, come to me. If I don't have an answer, I will get it for you. Please, don't be afraid. Come to the school committee meetings. And maybe we should move those around. Because where they're holding them now in the library, you can't see what's going on. It's behind a bookshelf. We need to hold those in an auditorium where the public can come and see what people are having to say. And maybe we should move them from school to school. Maybe we should take them over to Handon, maybe to Thornton Burgess or Green Meadow. And let the people there, or the senior center in Handon, or at our senior center when we have one here. But there needs to be a change in the direction of our school committee. And my vision is that we will be able to have open communication and discussions at our meeting so people can understand what's going on, so they can have input. We should probably have a couple of forums a year where they can come and just ask questions. What's happening? So we can just talk. As Bill said, transparency. What direction are we headed in and why? So, on the 16th, I asked for your vote.
Representative. I've lived here in town 6 years, 6 short years, with my wonderful husband and campaign manager, Mark. I've been an educator for over 20 years. I started as a paraprofessional or teaching assistant in a preschool classroom. And from there, I decided I wanted to become a teacher. So I went back to school when my children were small and obtained my teaching degree. I have a master's in elementary education. I'm certified in both Connecticut and Massachusetts. Currently, I have been teaching in Springfield, and right now I am an SEI teacher, which is a sheltered English immersion. I work with English language learners. So I'm working, this is my 5th year. I have professional teaching status in Springfield at Homer Street School. And let's see, while I've taught in Massachusetts, I've had experience with many of the issues that we're confronting today. District determined measures, teacher evaluation, teacher surveys, Common Core, just to name a few. In the 5 years that I've been teaching in Springfield, I have noticed a tremendous increase in the amount of testing that our children are required to do. And it's just too much. Children need time to learn in the classroom, and teachers need time to teach. And with all this assessment, that is not happening. So testing is taking time away from learning, and this has to change. I'm opposed to the PARCC assessment as it's new and unproven. Our children are not guinea pigs. So if you agree with me, I would appreciate your vote on May 16th. Thank you very much.